Welcome to the DCEU podcast. I am Lantern 2814, as you all know, and I'm here with a special guest. Do you mind introducing yourself to everybody?
I'm the Proctorius and a fellow DC fan, desperate for the Snyder Cut.
Yes, as we all are.
Yeah.
Where can people find you?
Twitter.com/the Proctorius, YouTube.com/the Proctorius, and that's about it as far as that goes.
All right, and I'll put the links all to that in the description for everybody. But first, you want to talk about San Diego Comic-Con. What did you like the most from it?
If I'm being honest, after I've settled in with it, and I think a lot of people won't be best impressed, but probably Shazam.
Shazam. I heard a lot of people are liking Shazam too.
Yeah, I was really that's the one that shocked me the most. Like, because I didn't think I'd be that intrigued by the film. Because David F. Sandberg, I like Lights Out, but not to the extent of.
Yeah, it's just like a little short film, isn't it? Or did they come out with the actual live action film?
No, I think Blumhouse got them, didn't they?
Yeah, I always seen the 10-minute short film he did on YouTube.
New Line Cinema got a hold of him and did it for him, and James Wan produced it.
Yeah, but that one's looking good. I like how they're getting the character right and everything.
Zachary Levi just seems perfect.
Nails it. For me, it's Aquaman. That kind of stole the show for me. I don't know about you, but I think it kind of looks like a Zack Snyder film. I mean, when it comes to the special effects and the way the action scenes look, it looks like a Snyder film. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it does, but there was a Twitter post he made that made me think, is he actually not all for Zack Snyder? It kind of made me a bit worried because I thought, he's definitely trying to go away from Snyder's vision. And he said something in the panel about it as well, saying something about the DC going forward needs to be more. I can't remember what he said exactly, but it sounded like a dig at Zack Snyder.
Yeah, but then I hear his Conan interview, and Conan tries to give him credit for casting Jason Momoa, and James Wan corrects him and says Zack Snyder casted Jason Momoa, and he thanks Zack Snyder for that.
So I haven't seen that video actually. Yeah.
I think if you YouTube it, you can find it. I think he has respect for Snyder. I think they all do. But I think they're just scared shitless of WB fucking with their films, you know?
I seen that David Sandberg put a Watchmen Easter egg into the Shazam trailer, which was awesome. You can tell he has mad respect for Zack Snyder, and he's definitely... I think Shazam had part of it when Billy Batson's on the train, and he's like, Billy Batson... I choose you. I thought it was quite tense. I know it's going to be a light-hearted film, but I thought that scene alone was quite dark and it felt Snydery.
Yeah, there should be tense moments.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the whole trailer didn't seem. I mean there was a lot of funny moments in the trailer, but yeah, the subway scene it seemed tense. When he first punches Dr. Savannah, that looked like it was going to be a tense moment.
Oh yeah, like a throwback to Zack Snyder as well from BVS. Look, the exact shot.
Yes. When Superman punches Batman, it's the same.
Yeah, the exact same shot. Yeah, same position of the camera.
Yeah, and David Sandberg, he doesn't seem like a super jokey guy. Like if you watched his panel and the interviews he did, he's really closed off and stuff. I don't know what that he's trying to say, but Zack Levi's all over the place and Sandberg's real quiet.
Yeah, he was just, I noticed that in the panel. He was just, you could only see him slightly smiling. He wasn't really laughing or anything.
I wonder what that means. I wonder if he's trying to tell us something. Or if he's just that's the kind of person he is. He's just a quiet person.
Yeah, you wouldn't even know either because he's not done that many films, so he hasn't.
Yeah, we wouldn't know anything. But other than Shazam and Aquaman, there was the Wonder Woman trailer that was shown, but we haven't seen it yet. No one's seen it really.
I think there was a few seconds leaked online, wasn't there?
Oh, yes, there was. But I didn't see it. I didn't get a chance to see it.
I think it was Wonder Woman throwing a lasso in a mall. It was very, very colourful.
Well,
that's about as far as I've seen.
Say it was going to be different than the first Wonder Woman movie. I just hope it's not that different because I know you don't like Wonder Woman that much, and maybe you can go into that.
Do I have to?
Yeah, they're going to be fine with it. I'm telling you, man. A lot of DC fans like us, We think Wonder Woman's a good film, but we don't think it's better than Man of Steel or BVS. Some people even like Suicide Squad more than it. So, I mean, it's a movie that does get overpraised a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely probably one of the most overhyped films in the last few years, I'd say. Like,
yeah,
it was crazy, the reception it got. I remember finishing watching it and thinking, what the hell, like the critics slash BVS, but this gets all the praise in the world.
Exactly. I remember watching it, and I'm like, this is comic accurate to an extent. and then I see all the reviews, and they're giving it like 10s out of 10s, and it has like a 94 on Rotten Tomatoes, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on?
I think a few English journalists didn't like it. I think The Guardian gave it a 2 out of 5.
I bet he got some major shit for it.
Yeah.
Major. It was not popular to hate on Wonder Woman when it came out.
I think when it comes down to it is because it's a strong female lead, and they'd probably get called sexist if they slated it. But it wasn't the worst film I've ever seen, but it wasn't.
Not by a long shot.
I think Zack Snyder set the bar so high for me, though. Like, DC from now on, every film's going to disappoint me to an extent.
Yeah.
Not to like a crazy level of I'd never watch a DC film, but to the extent of where I'm going to watch it and I'm going to walk out of it no matter how I think and I'll just be like, that'd have been a better film if it was directed by Zack Snyder, or if Zack Snyder was still there in the DC universe and still in control of everything.
That's what I think too, man. I'm hoping Aquaman can reach that bar because the trailer looked like there was a lot going on. It looked like we were going to get like 3 stories in one. And I hope it reaches that BVS bar. But, for a lot of people in the world, BVS is like a horrible film. But not to like people like us. But I hope Aquaman can exceed my expectations. And I'm hoping Shazam can too. But I know Shazam's not going to be as good as BVS. Just because of the story that's being told. It's a very simple story and stuff.
Yeah, I think BVS naturally it gave us Batman, Superman and Wonder Woman in the first live action film together. Like, BVS wasn't going to disappoint me because of the cast that were in it and the characters that were in it. Like, I was gonna go and see a film with Superman and Batman, and that wasn't going to be a film that would disappoint me. Like, it just wasn't.
Yeah, me too.
It might not have met my expectations, but it wasn't going to disappoint me.
Exactly.
And it exceeded all my expectations still.
And you thought that after coming out of the theatrical cut?
Yep. And I thought it was unbelievable film, and then I seen the ultimate cut and thought it was a masterpiece.
Almost the same thing. I remember walking into BVS, and I thought it was going to be like the worst film ever because all these reviews were saying how horrible it was, and I was expecting like the worst.
The story didn't make sense, and it was all over the place, and then...
Yeah, but it made sense to me. Like, I was able to put together the pieces and stuff. It didn't seem like it was, that mixed up and stuff. But then when I saw the ultimate cut, I was just like, holy shit. Like, they cut out 30 minutes of this movie. It makes complete sense now. There's no loose strings and stuff.
Nah, none at all. No.
Perfect.
Yep. I stand by what I told my friend when we first walked out the cinemas after talking about the critics' responses, and that in 10, 15, 20 years, that film will be hailed as a masterpiece and people will be begging for a Snyder-style superhero film.
I'm telling you, man. I mean, there was this article that came out. I don't know if it was like the New York Times or something, but they were talking about you're going to miss Zack Snyder's superhero universe. Because now, I mean, they're just going to try to make what we already see with Marvel, right? They're just going to try to make those movies. And I hope that's not the case. I hope like they're just giving directors creative freedom to make their movies, and we can actually get something like BVS again. What happened with Justice League? It's tough to trust what Warner Brothers is doing.
Yeah, definitely. I think to some extent, I think Jay Levers said at one point that even on BVS, he had to have a lot of... he had to take a lot of stuff out of the film because Warner Brothers and Jeff Johns didn't like it, and he had to compromise a lot. Like, do you think that's still the same with Aquaman and Shazam? I know it is for pretty much every film, but do you think they're as severe as they were with Zack, with Aquaman and Shazam, or do you think they've learned from Justice League?
I think they haven't learned jack shit from Justice League, but I don't think it's as severe than it was for Justice League, because Justice League, they already had the filmed. Like, they already did all principal photography. They already had a lot of the special effects done, and then Warner Brothers got cold feet and decided to change everything because of the reaction to BVS. James Wan doesn't have that same problem because this is his first attempt, and Warner Brothers has probably given him a little bit of freedom, but he probably did have to compromise on a few things. But I hope he stuck to his guns, and he's gonna actually try something new that we haven't seen before.
Definitely, he completely changed the Fast and Furious universe.
Yeah, I mean, for the better too, because up to that point, the Fast and Furious movies kind of sucked. This movie was at least decent. I don't know when the next Fast and Furious movie is coming out, but he definitely helped the franchise. I'm sure he's going to do great on Aquaman.
I'm sure he will. I'm sure that film, even if the critics don't like it, if the critics don't like Shazam or Aquaman, it's definitely, it's just cheap, and they're just saying it for the same reason of hate for Zack Snyder, and they'll probably crap on Aquaman and say, oh, it's too much like a Zack Snyder film. James Wan can't make his own film or something ridiculous, and say that DC is ruined forever until they reboot it. It's just ludicrous.
Yeah, I feel like they're going to love Shazam, though. I just have a feeling they're going to love that.
I have a feeling, yeah. Same. I feel like it's going to be a cult hit like Deadpool was, where no one knew who the character was, knew anything about it, and it's going to come out and it's going to blow up for families, for couples, for friends, for everyone.
Especially with families. I mean, a lot of kids are probably going to go see Shazam. They probably had the plan to make Shazam for a long time since they cast Black Adam in 2011. Didn't they cast him or something?
Yeah, The Rock. Yeah.
So they had the plan to make this movie for a long time. What was I saying?
About Black Adam. They've had the plan to make.
Yes, Black Adam. He's not going to be in Shazam. Black Adam's not going to be in Shazam. I guarantee you there's going to be teasers, though. And that Black Adam movie's going to do so well. It's going to be huge. The Rock as a superhero is going to be the biggest movie on the planet.
Yep. I cannot wait for it. I'm so excited for it. I love The Rock.
And when he fights Shazam, it's going to be another big event movie. They have a few event movies coming up. Aquaman seems like one of those big event movies, more so than Ant-Man. And
Ant-Man did really well. Yeah,
I mean, it bombed its second weekend apparently.
Ant-Man and the Wasp. I thought. Ant-Man and the Wasp. Yeah.
I mean, people didn't treat Ant-Man like they're treating Aquaman. I saw hundreds of reaction videos to the Aquaman trailer. Everybody's losing their shit about it. Even people that know nothing about the DC universe or these characters, they're getting excited about Aquaman. So,
yeah, I showed my friend a Shazam trailer, and he was saying how incredible it looks, and he's never heard of the character before.
Everybody's loving these trailers right now.
Definitely, there were two really, really good put together trailers. I remember when the BVS trailer first dropped and it showed the Batman warehouse fight scene, and I was just losing my shit. I was so excited.
Do you remember the very first, I think it was 2015 or something, or 14, when Zack Snyder came on stage and they did the Dark Knight Returns quote?
Oh, yeah.
And they just showed the logo and everybody lost their fucking minds.
Yeah, I think that was probably one of the top moments for Comic-Con.
And it was just a logo. It didn't show anything.
It was in I Am Legend as well, wasn't it? Warner Brothers put it in I Am Legend.
Oh, yeah.
On a billboard.
That was before they even did Man of Steel or anything.
Mm.
They always had the idea to do this Batman vs. Superman movie. And Zack Snyder, as you said, he compromised a lot on Batman vs. Superman. Metallo was supposed to be the final villain.
Yeah.
And all that got changed, and he made it work. I can't imagine many directors changing that much about the movie and still making it work and making it make sense. Because, people hate Doomsday, but that scene where Doomsday's fist gets caught by Superman, it's like a mirroring the Lex Luthor line where he says, "Nobody saved me from my father's fists and abominations." And then we see him get saved from a fist and abomination. So, Zack Snyder still made it work. And nobody.
Zack Snyder can make anything work.
Nobody gives him credit, though.
Nope. He's confirmed on Vero that actually wasn't the real Doomsday, though, didn't he?
Yeah. I mean, that's just one of many, probably.
Did they even call him Doomsday in the film?
Lex Luthor said your Doomsday. So
yeah, your Doomsday, yeah.
Technically, he didn't say it was Doomsday. He told Superman, "This is your Doomsday." Not exactly naming the thing. But anyway, moving on from BVS.
Well, let's never move on from BVS.
We're going to be stuck on BVS for hours.
One thing about BVS before we move on, though, the warehouse fight scene was actually meant to be extended. And even that was cut. Even in the Ultimate Edition, it was still cut. Because if you watch one of the original trailers, there's a scene of Batman throwing a fog over his shoulder into like a bunch of wood, like a big wooden plaque, and that never made the Ultimate Cut, which is crazy to think we could have had a longer warehouse scene. That it's just insane.
According to Zack Snyder, Man of Steel was almost 3 hours long.
Oh, the things I'd do to see that. Man of Steel, Snyder Cuts.
Sequences cut out.
BVS Snyder Cuts, Justice League Snyder Cuts.
I mean, I don't know what's holding them back from releasing the Snyder Cut. Like, what the fuck they waiting for?
I have no idea. I just can't. A company, what's probably worth. Let's have a quick Google.
Billions, isn't it? It's like billions of dollars award. WB?
Yeah. It must be something insane. 2.5 billion US dollars.
Like, and they can't spend 10 million to finish a movie.
It's just, yeah.
Put it out.
It's just crazy, like.
It's crazy. What future movies, other than the Snyder Cut, because we're going to get to that in a second, but other than that, and other than the 3 movies that we saw at Comic-Con, what other DC movies do you want to get made? Batman, Joker, like, what is it?
Does it have to be like realistic, or can it be like films that Warner Bros. Have never even spoke about and it probably will never happen?
Oh yeah, whatever you want, yeah.
In all honesty, and I know BVS is based off it, so don't say that, but The Dark Knight Returns is a full live action film. I'd do anything to see that. Like, I know it probably never will happen because BVS was based off it so much, but I'd give anything to see that.
I mean, what Zack Snyder did with Watchmen, I would love to see what he does with The Dark Knight Returns. Like,
evidently, it's his favorite comic. It must be. It was so heavily inspired BVS, but
there was lines and panels pulled from Dark Knight Returns. But you know, they could still do the whole Dark Knight Returns story. They didn't do any of that in BVS. That's still open. That's a possibility. And if they made it like the animated film, get out of here. That'd be the best film of the century.
Yeah, and they did like a Deadpool type situation, and they made it rated R or a 15 in the UK, and it came out and it was like the darkest comic book film we've ever seen to date, and God, that would be a good...
It'd be a great refreshing thing, because we're going to get another like 50 Marvel movies in the next 10 years here.
Yeah. I think realistically, like film-wise, it's probably... I wish the Batman film, I remember it was... I don't know if it was leaked, rumoured, or just talked about, but I remember hearing that Ben Affleck wanted to do a Batman film about the Jason Todd story, and showing you how Jason Todd was killed, and that is my dream Batman film. But I think there was a rumor about 4 hours ago that said that it's going to be a younger Batman. So that seems to me that they're not having Ben Affleck come back.
Yeah, but, that's the rumor I've been hearing too. Matt Reeves wants to make a younger Batman, but you know, I hope they do some kind of like, you know, they start the movie with Ben Affleck and he's reminiscing, and then the movie starts, you know. And we go back in time and stuff.
That'd be so cool, yeah. I'm quite excited for Green Lantern Corps, but Jeff Johns is just, he's lost my respect, like, massively. Everything I've heard about him just seems to be negative.
Oh yeah, I mean, I hear he's a pain in the ass to work with.
But, yeah.
You know, it's tough to hate the man because I have a bunch of comic books and like half of them are written by him. So, I mean, I've read a lot of good Green Lantern stories. I know he can make a good Green Lantern.
Have they not announced who's directing? I thought Green Lantern was one of the next films coming after Wonder Woman.
No announcement. We just have Jeff Johns talking about it. Like he's still writing the script, and that's it. There's no director announced. There was a director rumored, but nothing confirmed. But that's the film I want. When we're talking about future DC films, Green Lantern has to be like the next one on the list for me.
Is that what you'd like to see after Wonder Woman 84, or is that just what you'd want in the future?
I would like to see it after Wonder Woman. But I know we're going to get the Joker and probably a Batman film after Wonder Woman. And then after that, that's when I want to see a Green Lantern film. Because we're getting the Joker film. We're getting that.
Is that the one with Joaquin Phoenix?
Yeah, it's happening.
Yeah, Robert De Niro's just been casted in it, hasn't he?
Yeah, they're making big moves. They're about to start filming that any day now. Probably like in a couple months they're going to start filming.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure. I mean, you got a Joker film, you have to have a Batman film. And the Flash film is still in development. You got those directors that I don't like at all working on it. Goldstein and I forget the other guy's name, but yeah, that one doesn't look very promising.
Oh, I thought the directors got let go for that.
They're still working on it.
Oh, right. Oh, I thought they got let go.
I don't know.
Jonathan Goldstein.
Yes. I don't like them at all. I'll just say that.
How come do you not enjoy the films, though?
I think they've directed 2 films in the past. And they're like mediocre comedies.
I think they did Vacation, didn't they? With
like movies I wouldn't even bother watching.
Yeah, and Game Night that came out this year, which was pretty awful. So I'm a bit confused to why they've gave Flashpoint to her.
I mean, they just think Flash is like this hysterical character, but in the comics, like he's a little sarcastic, and like he has to deal with a lot of heavy shit in the comics. I don't understand where this idea of him being a comedy character is coming from. Other than the Justice League animated show, where it was Wally West.
Yeah.
A different Flash entirely. But yeah, it's the future movies, I guess. Is there anything else you want to talk about when it comes to the future?
I'm not sure, because it seems to me with Warner Brothers, they can't make their mind up. They're announcing stuff, and then they're like, oh, actually, we're not bothering. Because didn't a New Gods film get announced, and didn't a Deathstroke film get announced, and that's just completely silent now. So I've just learned not to get my hopes up with future films, like, unless it's confirmed and announced in an official manner of Comic-Con or an actual direct coming out and saying, yes, it's in development, I'm just not going to get my hopes up with future films from them.
Yes.
And, I'm just going to get excited for the films that are coming out, like Aquaman and Shazam and maybe Wonder Woman 84.
Me too, man. Me too. I'm just going to get excited about those films.
And I'm just going to stick by the Snyder Cut, because I think if they release the Snyder Cut, that'll prove to me that Warner Brothers have realised what wrong they did with Justice League and that they want to make things right with DC fans.
Yeah, if they do. You know, it doesn't seem like they want to.
Yeah, like that Wall Street Journal article is definitely bullcrap, because so many people have asked Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers have simply denied to comment on it. They haven't said yes, they haven't said no, they haven't mentioned anything else except we're not talking about it, and that's it.
And if you watch my video that I put up, that, comedy video, that little, quote, that little paragraph where it says they are planning to announce it or release it, that's the only comment they talk about the Snyder Cut in the whole article.
They're probably saying that about Batman at the moment, or we're not planning to announce anything about the Batman films anytime soon.
They could say that with any film.
Yeah, they could say it with anything, yeah.
And planning doesn't mean it's never happening. I saw a video the other day. It was this guy. He's a Snyder Cut fan, right? He wants to see the Snyder Cut. And he made a video essay. And he says Warner Brothers confirmed it's never happening, but I'm not giving up on it. And I'm just like, dude, they didn't say that.
They didn't say that, yeah.
I mean, people just go off what Collider's saying and what, IGN says. And they're getting their info from this Wall Street Journal.
And they've been proven to be paid off by the film companies and such, so why would you trust these type of places? IGN's employees leave all the time because they say they're sick of getting paid off, and then getting forced to write reviews that just aren't their own opinion.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's happened a lot in video games, the paid off stuff, like developers will give reviewers early access, they'll give them a bunch of special treatment, and that's for them to actually give their games good reviews. It just happens all the time. I don't know how people don't believe that, Some people don't believe that critics aren't getting, paid off.
Yeah. But I can't remember it was in the IGN, but he left and he did, a full article and loads of videos about how IGN get paid off by Disney and such.
Yeah. And it's just the special treatment. It's the sending them on vacations and putting them in hotels and stuff
Yeah. It's
nice.
After seeing The Last Jedi, you can't not believe that they definitely got paid off.
Yeah, man. I haven't met one person that loves it. In real life, I haven't met one person that absolutely loves it.
I know people that have said it was fine, it was an alright Star Wars film, but no one has loved it. No, It's just crazy. But that Collider video was just unbelievable. It really was it was embarrassing for them, for the most part. How can you call yourself a Snyder fan or a DC fan and say some of they're just not real journalists at all. How can you misinterpret what an article said? That article are words that are plastered on a page. They didn't say it with voice that you can misinterpret. It's words. It doesn't say anything about a Snyder Cut is never coming. I just don't know.
And they're just like making all these assumptions about the film never being done, and Zack Snyder didn't finish it. And it's just
do some research. Go on Joe Lever's Twitter. That's all the research you need to do. Yeah. Your video, the Snyder Cut doesn't exist video, which you should definitely all go and check out. Yeah. It's just a perfect example of how embarrassed this should be. Like,
they just don't bother to look into it, and that's what happens. You know?
They're either too lazy or they've got their own agenda of wanting to make us look like some cult.
It's insane. And like that guy said, I'm a Snyder fan. If you're a Snyder fan, why don't you want the Snyder Cut? You know,
yeah, exactly.
What is stopping you from wanting this?
Yeah, you don't even have to be a fan either. Like, I'm not that big a fan of David Ayer, and I still would I'd give anything to see a Suicide Squad cut, but I just know that's less likely than a Snyder Cut. That's why I'm not fighting for it.
For sure. I mean,
whereas a Snyder Cut feels so likely.
Yeah, there ain't nearly enough people wanting the David Ayer cut, right? But there's a lot of us that want the Snyder Cut, you know, and we've been there since like day one. I mean, when did you first hear about the Snyder Cut? Or when you heard there was a director's cut?
I think it was genuinely the Kevin Smith video where a fan came on and said they've actually seen the Snyder Cut, and they started talking about the scenes from it, and Kevin Smith was losing his mind saying how amazing it sounds. And he was saying he'd probably cry if he's seeing the Green Lanterns come down and stuff.
Yeah, I remember that person was confirming all that stuff, and a lot of it turned out to be true. I mean, Jay Alito was even confirming some of that.
Yeah, so, When did you first hear about the Snyder Cut?
When I first heard about it, I think it was when the Steppenwolf actor, what's his name, Kieran Hines or something?
Yeah, Kieran Hines. I
think it was like a week after the movie came out, and he gave that quote. And he said, I hope the director's cut comes out because it's better. So that's when I started believing that it was actually going to happen, you know? Because they did it with BBS. Why wouldn't I think there would be a director's cut for Justice League, you know? I was just assuming that they would come out with it, like, immediately. But we're still here.
People thought they were going to release the Justice League Ultimate Edition Blu-ray, and then they announced the trailer for the Blu-ray, and you got one measly cutscene, which was the best scene in the entire film. Exactly. Like... they're crazy.
And since then, we've gotten like 20, 30 more deleted scenes, you know, that
we've finished VFX.
Yeah, we've finished VFX.
And it doesn't exist. It absolutely does not exist. Don't forget.
I don't understand what people are getting this idea. Like, it's insane. It does
exist. Just crazy.
It's right there.
How can a cut not exist when we've seen so much of it?
So much. I mean, there's more deleted scenes than there's more deleted scenes than there are Josh Whedon scenes, you know?
That's what I mean.
Deleted scenes.
if his cut wasn't somewhat finished, how come Joss Whedon finished a film, a team-up film in, 2 months? That's impossible unless he had a full film to work from or somewhat of a full film to work from. Yeah, which he definitely did, and it was just altered by Warner Brothers.
Yeah,
I think even they'd probably confirm that. Like,
and if you watch Justice League, you can tell like every scene, Josh Whedon puts in a new scene where the actors say something a little bit different to change the story, and he just does that throughout the whole film. I mean, it starts like at the very beginning.
Yeah, because Ben Affleck has a different hairstyle every time, or the coat might be a little different,
And it's so noticeable after like you already know what happened and you go back and rewatch the film. It's like it's painfully obvious like what has changed.
Definitely.
And apparently the Superman fight was supposed to happen at the beginning of the film.
Oh yeah, I heard that from the guy who played Jimmy Olsen, was it?
Yeah, he was saying how all his scenes were cut and he had to do these reshoots with Josh where he was just the prison guard. But goddamn, like, we saw it in the trailer, you know, like finished special effects of Cyborg saving him.
And now we've seen finished special effects of Cyborg playing football.
I wonder if the car crash is done. Probably, right? Where he gets in the crash with his mom and his mom dies and Cyborg gets, you know, messed up. I wonder if it's already done. It probably is, right?
I hope so. Like, it's absolutely crazy.
I mean, after seeing that Cyborg football scene, there has to be so much more that's done. I can't imagine it, you know? Like, there has to be so much more that's done. The Steppenwolf battle with the armies and stuff, the VFX people were saying that they were working on that, so I gotta think that that's done, or at least really close to done. Just release what they have. You don't have to put any more money into it. Just release what you have. We're gonna be fine with that, right?
Yeah, or even just release all the deleted, or even just release all the Snyder scenes and just say, there you go. We're not releasing the film. It's going to cost us too much. Just have that. It's still something. We still get to see Snyder's original vision.
Yeah, I'm sure some scenes are done, but like most of them probably are. I can't.
Yeah. Didn't the Zack Snyder shared? What was it? Larry Fong, sorry, shared a picture on Twitter of him working on. Was it the Aquaman VFX when Aquaman's under the water?
Yeah, I think that was Zack Snyder had shared that.
Yeah, and the runtime was like, was it 2 hours or something? He was if he's working on VFX, that's 2 hours into the film.
Over 2 hours.
Then how can you honestly say the first 2 hours aren't already done? Or, fair enough, he might work
close. They're
or close to done.
Close. Yeah.
Because it wasn't Wonder Woman, didn't she post? Gal Gadot, sorry, post something about doing ADR when that all that was going on when Zack Snyder was still there. You don't do ADR unless it's over a finished product.
Yeah, man. I did a whole timeline of this on my videos. I'll probably link it to you, after this. But I did a whole timeline where I went through Zack Snyder's bureau posts, and he posted the Gal Gadot ADR in January, and then he posts them doing sound syncing and coloring in February, and then the Aquaman trailer the Aquaman footage was, I think, March. So he was working on the post-production from October 2016 all the way through March of 2017. That whole time he's working on post-production. I mean, there has to be so much done.
There has to be.
He left in May, so May
and even 22nd. Then, did he leave in May? He could have left. He could have left a bit later. He could have left a bit earlier.
Probably left in April, but he officially left in May 22nd. That still leaves October to March of post-production. That's 6 months, that's a lot of time. Josh Whedon did the reshoots and new special effects in 6 months. You can't tell me that Zack Snyder, didn't get anything done. Like Collider's saying. Collider's saying he didn't get anything done. It's not nearly done.
The only way I'll believe that if Warner Brothers come out and say he didn't actually leave in May, he left a lot earlier than that. That's the only way I'll believe that. Because if he genuinely didn't leave until that time, and it'd only be around that time, it wouldn't be ridiculously earlier, then I just can't believe that most of the VFX isn't done.
He was posting the Aquaman clip that you were talking about. He was posting that in March and February.
And it looked amazing. It looked really nice.
It looked done,
Yeah.
That's fine. If that's what unfinished special effects look like, I'm fine,
Definitely. Bloody Jay Lever said that if it was 99% done, surely that means that the VFX were done. It just needed polishing to an extent. Just a little finishing touches.
That's fine with me.
He even said Zack Snyder films a film. He never goes back to a film. He'll never do reshoots. He'll film it as a whole, and that's it. That's his film done.
They never did a reshoot for Watchmen.
No.
They shot that whole film in a year.
A 3.5 hour film.
Yeah.
7
months they shot that film.
So don't tell me Zack Snyder is one of the greatest directors of our time, didn't finish that film, didn't shoot that film, and didn't work with the special effects teams for that 6 months.
Exactly.
I just could not believe it. It is really, really insane. And if we don't get the Snyder Cut if we don't get some form of word by 2020, I'd be shocked beyond belief.
2020? So you're in for the long haul.
I'm in for the long haul.
Nice.
I'm a massive Zack Snyder fan. If this happened with Chris Nolan with the Batman trilogy, I'd be fighting for a Nolan cut.
Yes. But everybody would. Nobody would hesitate to fight for it. But because it's Zack Snyder, we got to question everything and say he didn't finish it. Oh, no, it wouldn't be as good as what we got in theaters. Are you kidding me right now? Anything would be better than what we got in theaters.
A CW Justice League would have been better than what we got in theaters.
The 3-part episode they did. That's better than Justice League.
Yeah. I just cannot believe Warner Brothers have not come out and said, you all need to stop. It's not happening. Why wouldn't, that wouldn't affect them. They're obviously not commenting because they're saving themselves room for when they want to announce it.
Yeah. Why would they announce it at Comic-Con, too?
With all the hype surrounding Aquaman already, they just weren't going to announce it at Comic-Con. Because people in Hall H there'd have been people who were going, what's the Snyder Cut? There'd have been people screaming like crazy and going, right, we don't care about Aquaman and Shazam anymore, give us the Snyder Cut now. Like, they just weren't going to announce it then. I had hoped that they would, because I think even if it was just Zack Snyder walking around saying, oh, yeah, the Snyder Cut's coming, but they're not putting it up on stage because it's obviously not a big deal compared to Aquaman and such, even that would have, like, satisfied me because I just know it's coming.
Yeah. Well, I think I was saying that it wasn't going to be there. Like, all my videos leading up to Comic-Con, I was telling people that it's probably not going to be there. But, you know, we could still hope, right? Like, you could still...
Yeah, you still have... Yeah, you have that feeling of please, 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 please.
Just to end this, you know, just to get some closure. But
it's
no,
crazy.
I've never... Wall Street Journal article. That's all we get.
I've never been so obsessed with something in film or games than I am with the Snyder Cut. Like, every single day I've thought about the Snyder Cut. It's unbelievable. It is really crazy how much it's had an effect on my life.
I mean, me too, man. Like, I started a fucking YouTube channel. I mean, I mean, I started in like 2017. I think the summer of 2017. And you know, I was just getting hyped for Justice League because I thought it was going to be a Zack Snyder film. You know, I loved BVS, and I was getting hyped, and then it was just this huge disappointment. And then I've been fighting for the Snyder Cut ever since. I
remember when I was in the midnight screen and Justice League came on, and it came on with it came on at the beginning, and it went through, and it was like, I think it was screenplay or story by Joss Whedon, and then it came up with directed by Zack Snyder, and I just started laughing to myself. I was like, oh. But then for a split second, I was like, oh, maybe they haven't changed that much. And within half an hour of watching the film, I was just like, oh, God, what's happened? Because I am a DC fanboy when it comes down to it. I'm a Snyder fanboy, but I am a DC fanboy too.
I was losing my shit when I saw that Green Lantern in the Steppenwolf fight, you know? Lying to myself, essentially.
It was a cool scene, though.
Even you know that scene was longer. That was probably like a 15, 20-minute sequence.
It's so sad. Imagine if Watchmen came out and the ultimate cut didn't happen.
Yeah, the director's cut didn't happen. That's the thing. The same thing happened with Watchmen. Like
yes, everyone demanded the director's cut. Yeah, because they didn't announce it at first, did they? Didn't they wait quite a while until? Yeah, because I know over the UK we didn't get it for ages. We got the theatrical release on Blu-ray.
Yeah, I think
and DVD.
The director's cut definitely came out a while after the theatrical cut came out.
I think to this day we still don't have the Ultimate Edition in the UK.
What?
We still don't have the edition. Is it with the animated scene? Yep, we still don't have that edition. we only have the director's cut.
That's strange, man.
I know. I've tried to look everywhere for it.
Order it from the US, man. Get it shipped from the US.
It's just... I can't believe we haven't got it.
It's almost a 3.5-hour film. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's on here. It says July the 27th, 2009. The Watchmen Blu-ray was released in the UK, and it was the theatrical release. And then in November the 1st, 2010. So a year and a half later, it took to get the director's cut out here, and we still haven't got the Ultimate Edition.
Wow. Dude, that's like perfect timing, right? Like Justice League, we're not even a year away from the movie, right? The theatrical cut came out on Blu-ray in March. So, you know, we're not even like 6 months away from that. So we still got a lot of time for Warner Brothers to decide to release it.
Yeah, I think we'll hear something very, very soon, personally.
In the same vein as Watchmen, you know?
Yeah.
Because Watchmen, look up, are you on the internet? Yeah, of course you are.
Yeah.
Box Office Mojo, Watchmen, dude. Your mind's going to be blown. You'll be wondering, why did they release a director's cut?
200,000. 200 million, sorry. Well, close to 200 million. Worldwide, 185 million.
Exactly. It bombed. Like,
on a budget of 130 million.
Exactly.
Holy Jesus Christ! What? I didn't know that.
Justice League was a bomb.
Yeah.
Like that.
Jeez. But I've never met a person who hasn't hailed Watchmen as one of the greatest comic book films of all time.
They didn't see it in theaters, though.
They haven't seen it in theaters.
I didn't see it in theaters. I've been watching it on Blu-ray though, like every day.
That's crazy. I didn't know that. I genuinely didn't.
you gotta think, like, out of their total, like, box up, the studio only gets half of what they make total, right? So, you know, what is it, like 184 it made worldwide or something? They only got half of that, so that's like 90 million they made.
Jesus.
And they still came out with a director's cut, an ultimate cut, a collector's edition. What's the excuse for Justice League?
And they've remastered it in 4K and released a big 4K Ultimate Cut edition.
And if you look up their Blu-ray numbers for Watchmen, it's over 100 million units they've sold or something. So they've made a lot of money just off the Blu-ray. So Warner Brothers knows, you know, they have an opportunity here. They got fans that want to buy Snyder Cut.
They have. It's same with Sucker Punch. A lot of people bought the extended edition of Sucker Punch, didn't they?
I did. Yep.
I think isn't it only Dawn of the Dead that he's never released an extended cut of? Oh, and 300.
That has a rated R edition.
Does it?
Yep.
It doesn't in the UK.
Not in the UK. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, exclusive director's cut. You can get dispatched from America. Yeah. Oh.
How much does shipping cost? The Dawn of the Dead one wasn't that much different, but you know it's cool. You get more blood, get more swearing and stuff.
Can you remember what was different? Because that's my favorite zombie film.
I can't remember, you know, frame for frame.
So is it just 300 we never got the edition from?
Exactly. And and he said, I remember Zack Snyder saying in an interview he had to cut stuff out of 300. So I mean, there's more.
I thought 300 was self-produced by him. I thought he.
No, Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers has produced all his films.
And they're stupid enough not to release the Snyder Cut. I'm really confused now, and I don't get it. I don't get it.
I know, it blows your mind. It blows my mind when I first, you know, looked into what Watchmen did, and it's just like, you know, what's the excuse? You know, Warner Brothers doesn't really care about like a few $1 million to finish it, right? They don't care about that. That's not a concern. I mean, would they be worried that not enough people would buy the Snyder Cut? I don't think that would be a concern either. I think more people would be interested, even people that don't follow this movement. My best friend, I tell him what's going on, but he doesn't, you know, follow it on Twitter, you know. But he wants it, you know. He'll buy it day one if they release it. But, you know, he doesn't actively support it or anything. So I got to imagine there's like a bunch more people like that, you know, just don't support it, but want it and will buy it. But anyway.
You know what else was missing from BVS?
What?
A commentary.
Yes.
It didn't have a commentary.
Snyder. And Watchmen had a Zack Snyder commentary. I like listening to Dave Gibson's commentary of Watchmen. He sounds like a fan watching it. It's fun. But Zack Snyder, he's real technical. Like, he'll break down, like, every scene that he shot and say how he did it. So, you know, he's real technical. I like it.
I don't think we got one with Man of Steel, did we?
Nope. Just like a stupid, like, scene-by-scene, like, came in and out of the movie. It was stupid. I want to hear Zack Snyder the whole time. You know, I want to hear what he has to say.
BVS, it's what I'd want the most. Zack Snyder talking on. That's what I was waiting for when I got the Blu-ray. I was like, I can't wait to watch the commentary.
Yeah, and nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
And he could do one too, just like off Euro. Like he could post a podcast, and he could just totally just do a commentary like that. Yeah. Right? I don't know if you had time to do that, but
it would be amazing though. I think it's probably for a pure purpose of people might prefer it for some reason. But how come we get the theatrical release on Blu-ray when most people probably won't want it? Like BVS, can you name anyone who actually watches the theatrical version now? Because I know I don't. Or watches the original Watchmen version, because I know I don't. I watch the director's cut and that's it.
Exactly.
And if we had the Ultimate Edition, I'd probably only watch the Ultimate Edition, but we don't have it over here, so.
I mean, I only watch the director's cut of Watchmen when I don't have time to watch the Ultimate Cut. You know, like the Ultimate Cut's like another half hour on the movie. But you know, the director's cut is like perfect. Like I would buy a deluxe edition of Justice League in a heartbeat.
It's the first Blu-ray I've pre-ordered, without a doubt. It's the dream. It is the dream. What do you think about when journalists say it's a very, very small fraction of DC fans that want the Snyder Cut? Do you think that's true, or do you think that's completely inaccurate?
Dude, they're just totally trying to discredit us as much as possible. Because if this happens, you know, if there is a Snyder Cut that comes out, I mean, they kind of lose all credibility, right? Of course, people are going to still listen to them because like millions of people listen to them anyway. They don't realize that we're just the vocal part. You know, there's a huge segment that's not vocal at all because they're scared of being ostracized or being made fun of for like wanting a Snyder Cut. I'm telling you, there's a lot of people like that, and I've talked to a lot like that. The more people we have talking about, this is why I liked your video, and you know why I think you should keep making videos like that is because we need more people talking about it anyway. Because
that's the only reason I did a video about it, because it's more vocal, isn't it, than just making a post on Facebook. Exactly. YouTube's a bigger platform.
And people, I mean, the Snyder Cut people will see it. They will spread it around. And, I mean, you did a lot of work in that one. And that's all I want you to do is just, you know, take your time, you know, put some work in.
They're all going to be about the Snyder Cut more than likely.
Every new information, you get a video about it. But, yeah, man, we need more people that are vocal. I mean, people just aren't.
A lot of people just are too busy as well. Like, some people just don't have the time to go out of the way, and some people don't have social network and support it crazy amounts.
I wasn't on Twitter until this year, so I can't imagine how many more people are like that.
And you're still not on Facebook, and there's so many. I'm in a group on Facebook that I'm in one called the Zack Snyder Appreciation Society, and I'm in one with an insane amount of people in it. That is a Snyder Cut one. I'll check now. In the Zack Snyder Appreciation one, there's 3,000 members. And in the Snyder Cut one, there's 800 members currently. I mean, but that's like I know the guy who runs the admin. Like it's not exactly like a huge group that's being shared, and it's never been shared. You know what I mean? That's just people who found it themselves.
I mean, that's only like the most hardcore people, really. I mean,
and that's Facebook. Like not many people do have Facebook nowadays because of all the security stuff that went on. Yeah. There's a lot of movement on Facebook, though. That's why I'm getting a bit more active on Twitter, because a lot of people on Twitter do hashtag release the Snyder Cut.
And it's the easiest way to actually support what's going on. You just do a hashtag, you know.
Yeah, because everyone's Warner Brothers are on Twitter. Walter Hamada's probably on Twitter.
You do at Warner Brothers, do the hashtag. I just want to say real quick, the Comic Movie Marks came up with the idea of doing letters, sending letters to Warner Brothers. We do have the address of Warner Brothers, so it would be possible to do. And I think that would send a good message, right?
Definitely, yeah.
Put stacks of letters on their desk.
Even emails.
And I think people need to, like, I mean, because there's a lot of Snyder Cut fans out there that get really defensive and angry, like, really quick. And I sometimes do.
Yeah.
But, you know, if we could just make like 1,000 letters that are like reasonable, you know, you're not like cussing, you're not mad, you're just like sensibly asking for the cut. I think that could really make a difference. Nobody writes letters for movies, you know? Nobody will do that for any movie. So if Warner Brothers sees like over 1,000, you know, 10,000 people are doing this, that's all they would need.
Definitely, 100%. It's just crazy. Like, there was a film that came out last year that was probably one of my favorite films of the last 20 years.
Was it King Arthur, Legend of the Sword?
Oh, how did you know? Oh, was it that obvious?
Really? Is that
it? No. But what annoys me is it wasn't produced by them, but it was distributed by Warner Brothers in America anywhere. But Blade Runner 2049 was a 3-hour film it was very obvious they gave him complete creative freedom. Yeah. And it didn't do that well box office, unfortunately, but
it got recognized though at the Oscars.
It got recognized, yeah, as an instant classic, and I bet you it sold a lot of Blu-ray copies, and it will carry on selling Blu-ray copies, and like loads of people have hailed it as a masterpiece of the last like 10 years, and like surely that like why have you let them? Because it's a sequel to a film that came out so long ago. That's a very very ballsy move for them to let him do a really long film based on that universe.
And it's just based off the cult following of the original film. Like they knew there was an audience there.
Which isn't exactly going to be the size of the DC cinematic universe cult following. Like
because it hasn't even been that long, really. BVS came out in 2016. And
you can build off the hype of it and release the Snyder Cut, and people who don't even like Snyder will probably go, yeah, I'm going to buy it because I want to see more Cyborg or what have you. Or I want to see Green Lantern. Or I want to see what they do with Darkseid.
I think Cyborg's like the biggest thing for me. It's the biggest thing. I need more Cyborg. And
Ray Fisher just seemed unbelievable. He did such a good job with what he was given with Joss, and he supports Zack. He seems like such a nice person in real life. He's a great actor.
Yeah.
I'd have loved more of Ray Fisher. And it's a nice change. It's not a film based on Batman for once, as much as I wanted it to be based on Batman.
Was supposed to be the heart. Like, he was supposed to be the driving force of the movie.
Wasn't there, isn't it? I'm certain that apparently the ending was going to be a suicide scene with Batman trying to, like, not actually kill himself, but like go into battle to lure all the, like he did in the actual film, but it was going to be a lot darker in the Snyder Cut, and it was going to be him like feeling worthless because of what happened with Superman and such, and all the Justice League members. All the Justice League members save him, and it was meant to be an incredible moment in the film.
Why would Warner Brothers not want to do that? You know, just to make a movie that's like every other goddamn superhero film, like.
What flops?
Yeah, like I hope they realize that. I mean, more people would have rewatched Justice League if it was a 3-hour epic film where Batman is suicidal and he gets saved at the end by the rest of the league. Like that would have been a way better ending.
Definitely. That's the problem with that film, though, isn't it? That's where the box office comes from with them type of films is rewatchability.
Yeah.
BVS didn't make, like, the second weekend wasn't probably people going to see it. It was probably all of us going to see it again. Yeah. Third weekend, all of us going to see it again. I would think Star Wars made $1 billion. It's because we all went to see it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Then The Last Jedi, no one wanted to go and see it again. So it flopped.
$1 billion though, you know?
It didn't flop, but yeah. Well, Solo then, we'll say Solo. Solo flopped because of that reason. No one wanted to go and see it again.
And it got good reviews. Did Solo have like a 70-something on Rotten Tomatoes?
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was a really good film. I preferred it to The Last Jedi.
Like, that's another thing about the reviews. People say BVS failed because it didn't make $1 billion. But when you think about it, it had a 26% on Rotten Tomatoes. Every critic was saying it was a bad film. And it still made $800 million. You know? Like, a lot of people went to go see the film and rewatch it, even though every critic was saying it was a horrible film. And exactly. I think that's more powerful than a film that everybody was going to go see anyway. Like Last Jedi, everybody was going to go see it, you know? And the good reviews convinced even more people to go see it.
And it still wasn't as big as Force Awakens. It
didn't make as much as the first movie. And that's with, like, everything going for it. And Batman vs. Superman, going into its first weekend, had nothing going for it, you know? It made $800 million. I mean, that's a success, man. Like, that is, like, a win. Like,
yeah, I went to go and see it weeks after it came out. And there was so many people in the cinemas sat with us when we went to go and see it. I remember the first day I went to go and see BVS and the cinema was heaving. It was unbelievably heaving, people, like, screaming, getting ready for it. It was crazy how busy it was. And outside, the lines were going out the doors and such. And the same for the day after. Same for the week after.
The big event.
Yep. My massive event. Yep.
I think the only thing that comes close to it is like a Star Wars or an Avengers film. It was on that level. And I can only imagine, like, if it had great reviews, it would have broke $1 billion easy. You would have convinced people to go see that movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who were sheep as well who said, the reviews are bad, the film's bad, don't go and see it. And they never went to go and see it, yeah. My girlfriend actually said she didn't go and see it, and when I asked why, she said she got told from everyone that it was a really, really bad film. And I was like, said everyone go and see the film? And she was like, I don't think they did, actually. I was like, well, what?
Yeah, they just read online reviews. That's all they did.
Yeah. The only people's opinions who I actually, like, trust are YouTubers, are people who, like, you know, like small YouTubers. Like, say if you went to go and see Aquaman and you said, it was a bad film, I probably would be swayed a bit. I'd be like, oh, right. Yeah. But I'd still go and see it because it's like, no matter what, there's not going to be a person in the world who's going to have the exact same opinion as you do. Everything's subjective when it comes to entertainment. Everything. I think The Room's quite a good film, filled with a lot of heart, but it's hailed as one of the worst films ever made.
It's
I think Gods of Egypt's a worse film than The Room, without a doubt. Like, yeah. But it's like the same goes again. I bet there's people out there that have got the Gods of Egypt Steelbook and they're watching it every night. Everything's subjective. There's never going to be like that's why I don't get why people trust critics. Like they're not there to tell you to go and see a film or not. They're there to let you know that they didn't enjoy it or they enjoyed it. They're not saying don't go and see the film. So why do people see a negative review and go, I'm not going to see that then? It just doesn't make sense to me. I've got loads of friends who didn't go and see BVS because of that reason. They said, I'm not going to see that. I'm not interested. It got panned.
I don't know if it's like a pride thing. Like they don't want to, see a bad film because it reflects badly on their own tastes. But it's subjective, like you said. It doesn't matter, what anybody else says about it. It only matters what you think about it. And a lot of people don't really want to take the risk of having a different opinion. So they won't even see the movie if everyone's saying it's bad, right? Because they might be worried that they'll like it,
Yeah.
And then they have to fight against millions of people.
And as soon as you have a different opinion, you get slated. And obviously, YouTubers are probably going to stick with BVS was a bad film because if they said it was good, they'd probably get cracked on by all the audience saying, how can you say that was a good film? It was so bad, blah, blah, blah. I'm unsubscribing.
YouTubers I see really hating that film are people that have millions of followers.
Millions, yeah.
So they're just saying it because they don't want to upset their fan base that already believes this one thing, I don't know. I lost my train of thought on that. But you get the point. I usually like movies that critics hate.
Yeah, I've tend to notice that with myself. Every time I go and see them, I end up thinking that was really good. I don't know if it's because they lower my expectations that much or...
It might.
I don't know. But, there's a lot that I've went to go and see that got panned and I've came out thinking that was a really good film.
I don't know. What else do you want to talk about while I got you on here?
I don't think much DC news has came out except for the Comic-Con panel, has it? But
Comic-Con panels, and the fucking Cyborg deleted scene. And apparently, the Aquaman meeting Bruce Wayne got leaked too. But
yeah.
Did you see it?
Yeah. It was just his business card.
Oh, was it just a snapshot?
Yeah, no, it was just him moving the card to what I've seen anyway.
Yeah, people were talking like the whole scene got leaked or something, and I couldn't find that. I can only find a snapshot. But yeah, Warner Brothers is pulling off the Cyborg deleted scene. They're pulling it.
Yep, pulled it from everywhere.
What? What I'm saying? Doesn't that get your mind racing?
I know, why would they be bothered if they had no plan? So
they're trying to hide something.
Yeah.
Trying to save it for something. Either they're trying to bury it or they're trying to save it to release it all at once at some point in the future.
Definitely. I think it'll be coming in the next few years, but it might be a pipe dream. Who knows? Not a pipe dream for them to make it, a pipe dream for them to actually...
Oh, yeah, to own up
to actually do it. Yeah, own up and release it. That might be a bit... Because I think Warner Bros. Is a very, very proud company.
Oh, they're proud of 100 years of making films, and they still fuck up Justice League.
They're probably that stuck up. They would say, right, we're not releasing it purely because you've got Justice League now. We've messed up that film. We're not going to admit we messed up that film. Deal with it. Unlucky. Yeah. Whereas I think it'd give me a lot of respect for them if they came out and said, we've messed up Justice League. We're so sorry. He's the Snyder Cut of Justice League. And Zack Snyder's still very close to the production. He's producing every DC film that's up and coming, and
Warner Bros. Is still working on him with Fountainhead and stuff. So maybe it's Zack Snyder hasn't said a fucking word about this.
Yeah, he said nothing.
And that kind of gets my mind racing too. Why is he not saying anything? Is it because he wants to keep his relationship with Warner Brothers intact? Is it because there's some legal problems with him talking about it? Does Warner Brothers even know that he's posting on Vero about this? His pictures and stuff? They have to, right? But why wouldn't they stop him?
Exactly, which if they really didn't want the Snyder Cut to come out, they'd say to Zack, you need to stop posting about it, stop getting fans excited, we're not releasing it, get over it, do the Fountainhead for us, and that's it.
And I'm sure Zack Snyder would come out and say that, you know? He would say it's not happening, Warner Brothers told me, and that's it, you know?
Yeah, because he knows what we're like. He's talked to, like, us. He knows the passion we have. He knows that BVS had such a strong fan base. Dude, he's not silly. Yeah.
Every Vero post, people are saying release the Snyder Cut. You know? Every single Zack Snyder Vero post.
Yep, so he knows. He knows.
Sure.
He's still the producer on Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Untitled, DC film, Suicide Squad 2, Gotham City Sirens, and Deadshot.
And I'm willing to bet that Untitled film is the Batman film with Matt Reeves and stuff.
Do you think?
Yeah, I'm willing to bet. Because if they don't have, like, the warehouse Batman scene in BVS, they need to get Zack Snyder's production company involved on the next Batman film. Just for the action sequences. Just for Batman beating up people, you got to have Zack Snyder's production company, right? So that's why I think he's going to be involved.
I wonder what's happening with the Jared Leto Joker film. Wasn't there meant to be a Jared Leto Joker film coming?
There was. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if the Joaquin Phoenix one stopped that now.
Yeah, I think that one's going to take priority because Joaquin Phoenix is like an Oscar caliber actor.
Yeah, he's a brilliant actor. Yeah. I think Joaquin's a bit. I think he's a lot better than, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I think so too. But you know, they're already casting that Joaquin Phoenix movie. They already have the director. I mean, that's taking priority first.
That's my problem. Like, it's very hard to get. As much as excited as I am for all these films, it's very, very, very hard to get hyped beyond belief for these films after what's happened with Justice League.
Like, unless they release the Snyder Cut, like, I'm not going to be, like, 100%, like, behind Warner Brothers in anything they do, right?
So, even with Snyder's The Fountainhead.
Right?
That's why is he sticking with them? I just don't get it. I just don't get why he's staying with them after what they've done.
They pay him.
Yeah.
And I think they discovered him too, didn't they? Did they do Dawn of the Dead?
Oh yeah, he might be contracted like, I don't know, 50 films with them or something. You never know.
I mean, if he's getting paid millions of dollars.
It's the same with Warner Brothers and Chris Nolan. I remember hearing that apparently they give Chris Nolan pretty much entire creative freedom because they have that much faith in him.
Yeah. But when it comes to Zack Snyder, you know, they fucking do extended cuts, director's cuts. They always cut down his films, and they're always better than what was released in theaters. And Christopher Nolan was helping him on Man of Steel.
Heavily, very heavily.
Where the fuck is Christopher Nolan now? You know, like, why isn't he helping him with Justice League?
I know, he's gone a bit quiet with everything, hasn't he? I hate that. I hate how quiet he's gone.
Exactly. Like, and you know Christopher Nolan knows what's going on right now.
He should be sticking up for Zack. Like,
he hasn't said one word about it.
Nope, not a single one.
In fact, nobody had. Like, James Wan hasn't said anything to support Zack Snyder. Patty Jenkins hasn't said anything. I think they're all kind of just, like, scared for their own films. They don't want, you know, what happened to Justice League to happen to their films, right? So
I do. I just want more people to support Snyder and appreciate him.
Yeah, it's not going to happen for a while.
He's all I want. He's all I need. All I want, like, the one film I've always wanted Zack Snyder to direct would be a World War II film. I just think a war film would be insane if he did it.
He would do so good. So good.
Like, yeah, like, just imagine Saving Private Ryan, but it was directed by Zack Snyder. A Zack Snyder D-Day film. The camera, slow motion across the beach with all the Germans firing down.
You thought Steven Spielberg, like, did an intense film? Like, Zack Snyder's film would be, like, way intense. Like, it would be, be like you're actually there.
It just been crazy. I've always, like, I just think he's dead respectful with history. And I think he'd do a really, really good job of it. He'd do something like Nolan would do with Dunkirk, something really impressive. Yeah, that's not DC though.
DC, though.
Yeah,
might as well be DC. It's so dark and gritty.
Oh,
might as well be DC.
You've just copied off Deadpool. You're so a hack. Dark. You copy off Marvel.
That's right. I stole their joke.
Deadpool 2 was a good film. I did like Deadpool 2 actually.
I haven't seen it yet, so but yeah. We're all looking forward to the Snyder Cut. All want it to happen.
I think the key word there is looking forward to it because we know it's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's bound to happen. I mean, or at least we're gonna get some information about it at some point. Actual quotes and stuff from Zack Snyder or Warner Brothers. Somebody's gonna say something. They might not want to do it because of Aquaman coming out. I don't know. We could still ask for it, right? You could still send letters to Warner Brothers and all that. Just keep growing the fan support. That's all we can do.
That's all we can do. That's all we can do. No, because there's not much else we can do, really. It'd be cool if we could march on Warner Brothers, but...
Did you see, like 200,000 people signed the petition for with James Gunn to get rehired?
Oh my God, yeah.
Oh, it's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like 200,000 people instantly, and we can't get 1 million people to get on the Snyder Cut. It's ridiculous.
Like, how can you blame Disney for sacking him? Like, them tweets were just. I'm definitely a fan of joke about anything. Anything goes in comedy. Like, but Jesus, don't do 500 jokes of the same thing.
Same thing about touching a 3-year-old or something.
Yeah, like what the hell? Yeah, some of them didn't even seem like joke. I was just out. There was like the odd one I'd think, that's a bit funny. But the most of them I was like, Jesus Christ. It's a shame because I absolutely really love Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, I think he did a movie, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. That movie was dope. Didn't he do that one?
I think so, yeah. It's on 300,000 signed now.
And we can't even break 200,000 for the fucking Snyder Cut. That's some bullshit, man. That's a fucked up world we're in.
that is really crazy.
Like, and there's so much evidence, like, that the Snyder Cut is real, and then it's just sitting there somewhere. Anyway, ended on that note. Don't
put that one in as a.
Once again, you can find. I forget to say how you say your name. Proctorius.
Proctorius, yeah.
His channel in the description. Thanks for everyone watching. If anybody made it this far, they're champs. They actually listened to this all the way through. Anything else you want to say to end it?
The only thing I want to say is still sign the petition for the Snyder Cut. It's still going and it's still rising. I've keep checking it regularly and it is still rising. Keep the support. Post on Twitter every few days of release the Snyder Cut hashtag. You'll get likes. Do videos for it and share them with us, and we'll watch them. We'll like them. We'll share them. We'll get it out as far as we can get it, and never stop supporting the Snyder Cut. Not getting announced at Comic-Con means nothing. It means nothing at all.
Exactly.
It gives me more hope that Warner Brothers have more faith in the cut, to be honest, if anything. Yeah. So never lose your support for the Snyder Cut and continue going to see all the DC films that are coming out. Aquaman looks awesome. Shazam looks incredibly awesome. And Wonder Woman 84 will probably be amazing, hopefully. The Batman will probably be one of the best films of DC's log, hopefully, because Matt Reeves did one of the best trilogies we've ever had. So DC going forward is incredible, but we still want the Snyder Cut. Don't give up on the Snyder Cut because it shows them what we want and what we need and what we love.
Yep. I agree with everything you just said. All right. That's it for now. Thanks for joining us. And
thanks. Cheers.
In the next one, whenever that is. Bye for now.
Bye.